Yeah.
So, I'm going to ask you, what are the typical challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis? Typical challenges that is new to you post lupus diagnosis,
Mm. So when I was diagnosed, let's start with from when I was at my worst, when I was diagnosed. It was one of the, like, I have always been an independent girl. Like, I would love to do my things on my own. And so when I was diagnosed, again, I had a very general symptom as fever and joint swelling, but it had reached to a point where I couldn't change my own clothes. I couldn't move my limbs. I couldn't get up. And that was way more frustrating. So, and then learning slowly to be patient through it and learning, okay, this shall pass. We'll figure out. If I can't get up, maybe 1 or 2 days I need help, but slowly you do learn. So every day it's a learning. This whole process, you keep facing challenges, you do learn. Like in my profession too, like as soon as I was diagnosed from my doctor, I did, like the first thing that came into my mind is you need to start thinking of other alternatives. If you in this field, you may continue, but you need to start thinking of alternatives as to like that is something more relaxing which won't impact your health. If you want to do surgery, you need to think of something else.
I was going to come to that.
Yes. And then at that point I was like rebellious. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. But then again, it was a learning through this course. I'm like, instead of trying to be rebellious, it's more about understanding yourself and again coming up with a plan B, plan C, and knowing that this is not the end. There's always another alternative. So yeah.
What you said is so beautiful. Oh my God, I can relate to it on so many levels, and yet I can't articulate myself. I think it's a feeling that I think we can relate to, and a lot of our viewers will also be able to relate to. So stunning. So these are the typical challenges. Okay, the next would be, this is very interesting. I really want to know this, and I think it will really help our viewers also, because my question would be, do you find your professors or your teachers in college treating you differently? Now when I say differently, one, it can be in a kinder way, or it can be in a more isolating way. How inclusive do you feel the system is to someone like us? You and I were chronically ill. So how has it been overall, the change in behavior, acceptance, inclusiveness, everything?
So firstly, since I have been diagnosed newly, and it was a process for me, and initially when I was diagnosed, I wasn't able to attend college as much because it took time for me to get to this stage of normalcy. So I have never gotten a chance as such to like open up to my professors, and the time where I would spend more time with them, like that is this year. The pandemic hit in and I've been at home ever since. But like a few of them with whom I got to share my experience with, they were very welcoming. I think that is the added advantage because they know what is happening technically. It's not that they are isolating you, but they are aware, and like, that feeling is there that they are going to understand. Like, and I think understanding is the biggest thing we need in our, like, in terms of chronic illness, that y'all are normal, but your kind of normal is slightly different. So yeah.
Oh, so I didn't know the answer, right? So I was actually really looking forward to hear it from you. And you said that they've so naturally taken it, keeping in mind the fact that they even know the intricacies and the nitty-gritties of the disease. That is such that's giving me a lot of hope. Just hearing that out, that that they were so accepting of it and understanding. That is stunning. So I think that would really
give. And this was a very small, maybe 1 or 2 of them with whom I did open up, not like the whole people that I interact with usually, because again, I did not get much time since I was newly diagnosed, and everything was like like initially I was at home and things like that. Now would be the ideal time that I would get to like spend time with my professors, but sadly pandemic hit in. So
yeah. Makes sense. That's so nice. Then next would be, how did your course mates take it? See, one is your professors, teachers, and all, but your classmates, your college mates, your batch mates, course mates, however you would put it. Tell me about that. I'm really keen to know.
I think that was the most interesting, and that was when I felt the most overwhelmed, because I got this one thing when, like, when you're at home, you have your parents watching over you, but when you're leading your own life, you're interacting with people, and they are there for you to constantly watch over you, understand you, and make sure that you are a part of their normalcy. And that was beautiful. They took it in beautifully. Like, and I was again very skeptical to share how I felt with people, because
Right.
again, they look at you differently, and you have so many questions running in your head. But there
Absolutely.
were like, yeah, they were beautiful. Like, there were two of them who I was very close to, and like they like constantly pushed me through, until they still push me through. And again, the added advantage of us doing the same course, them like daily life, they do have that better understanding, and it was wonderful.
Wow.
That was when I felt the most overwhelmed.
So I'm gonna give this big shout out to those friends of yours. Thank you. I mean, I think it gives me hope. It's not just supporting Priyamvada, it's just giving me hope, and also other patients are gonna watch this, that there are really nice people in this world who will support you and who will understand you and be there, right? So it's not just a very black and white world. So it's very colorful. Great, that's amazing. So next, what would be the next question? Yeah, so I'm going to ask you this because I have an answer to this too. But what is that one thing that you hated when people, with respect to lupus? You know, I'll tell you mine. I'm sure that's common to all of us. But I would be happy if you can add an additional point also. We hate sympathy, right? We don't want sympathy. We don't want pity. You know, we don't want any of that. The best you can do is empathize, and if you're not capable of doing that, the least you can do is to not even do anything, you know, because sympathy is horrible. We don't want that. Right?
We don't want that.
It doesn't help. It's not productive. You sympathizing and feeling bad for me is not productive, right? So other than that, you know, can you tell me your thoughts on that?
On like what annoys me most about
what annoys you most
diagnosed?
About battling a chronic illness like lupus. What annoys you the most? It need not just be with people, but it can be with yourself as well.
The little things, the little compromises that we have to make, like starting from food. I've always been a foodie, so the small things like that.
Yes.
And it's not the end. It's like, if you have compromised one thing, it doesn't stop there. So like, you have to you have to constantly have the energy to adapt to new things. So that's
it's a series of compromises.
That is what I don't like. Like, very little things. Say you out, you're planning to go out, hang out with your friends, and then it's sunny, but you have to think twice. Like, can I go to a beach with them? Because again, one of the symptoms is photosensitivity. But
absolutely,
small things, very small things that you have to compromise. Which
small things that finally pile up. They pile up to you know, everything. Like, you know, I was very, very beautiful thing that you just said. You know, this compromise aspect is like, I had to go for lunch to one of my friends' place, and so they're Rajasthanis, and it's like lovely parathas, and you know, with a lot of ghee and oil, and it's gluten, right? Rotis and parathas and all. So it was very, very sad. I had to bail out, you know. I was like, busy, I'm tired, and all for the fact that this is there, you know. So I'm saying these small things just pile up, and I think that's a very beautiful, you know, example that you said. Okay, so I think we are done with the second segment. Going great. And the third segment I'm gonna come to is everyone says, right, family plays a huge role. A stunning, enormous amount of power that family gives you. But can you tell me a few things that your family did that enhanced your healing. Now, why I'm asking you this is because I said we're going to be having caregivers and families of patients, spouses, everyone who's going to be hearing this, who want to help their loved ones who are battling lupus or any other chronic illness. It is such a important role. It's so subtle but so important. So can you tell me what are those few things that your family did that gave you hope and that gave you that power?
I think the biggest thing for me was the fact that the first thing that they said is, no matter what, we're always going to be here with you. So I think that is when, I think that is my biggest force, or like that is my biggest energy, or like that is my hope, that I'm pushing harder to like give in something or like live for them. Like, yes, for myself too, but like that just adds something, like that just gives you hope, so that they are always going to be there no matter what. And the second thing is them being so open about it and not stigmatizing the whole thing. And so it's just wonderful. Like, see, financially they are a huge support, which I'm lucky to have them as a support with. But I think more than finances, like them being there emotionally is, I think, the biggest plus point. And it's wonderful. Like, my parents have literally been my strength, like my pillar of strength through this.
I can imagine. It's so
like my
it's
parents,
similar to
my
me.
siblings, my siblings too. Like it's just wonderful. And I like the days where you just feel like giving up or not getting out of bed, it's like they come and push you to do it, even though, like, keep in mind that even they are going through a very similar set of emotions. Why is my daughter going through this? Even they are also dealing with their own way
and
of handling
they
this
even go back to like, what did we do wrong? Did we not give her the right nutrition? They're on a constant guilt trip too, right? Despite that, Priyamvada, you said, right, just them saying that no matter what, we will be there for you. I could just tear up thinking about it, because it's similar here, just to know that, man, I can just fall back and then someone will be there to hold me. And I have seen a lot of patients don't have that. A lot of patients don't have that through this journey of being one of the founding trustees of Lupus Trust India. I've interacted with this, and I mean, if there are any family members watching this, all we both want to tell you is, it's so important. The patient is in pain. The patient is lost. The patient is probably guilty.
And it's not, exactly. I was just coming to that. It's not just the of the disease, but we also have that thought constantly, like that's still running in my head. Oh my God, I'm a burden to my parents, or oh my God, I'm a burden to people who are around me. So many of my friends have to compromise their plans because of me and things like that. It's like dealing with that, and still they are making us feel completely normal and even more loved. I think that has been my biggest support throughout.
Absolutely. I mean, that word burden you used, there are times I have just broken down and told my mom, see, because of me, my mom is a gypsy at heart. She used to travel a lot, and that just breaks my heart that somewhere I am caging her, and that is that, and I needed so much of psychological support for that one emotion, despite keeping in mind that my family has never made me feel that way. They were always there. So then,
and that's what makes it worse, right? Knowing that they are there, but still we are making it worse.
Absolutely. It's so beautiful that we could talk about this openly, Priyamvada, because we are sensitive souls. Keeping in mind the fact that along with the disease, we become a lot more sensitive. We are a lot more conscious. We are aware, and so to all those family members who support us, thank you, and those who are not doing it properly, my sincere request that it's about humanity. It's not that you're obliged or it's a duty. No, it should come naturally to you to be unconditionally accepting of the disease. That's lovely. That was a very beautiful point.